What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kamon, and I'm still sick. I'm still very sick, but the grind doesn't stop. Time recording this, we're like 50 subs away from 4,000, so let's go. But anyways, before we get started, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and join my Discord, support me on Patreon. And the biggest thing is I am sponsored by Dueling Guard, so if you do want to get some super cool playmats, deck boxes, and accessories, make sure you do check out duelingguard.com, link down below. And if you use my code Kamon5, you get 5% off of all your purchases, which does help out the channel. It comes back into here, which goes back into the channel, etc., etc. But yeah, I'm rambling too much. Let's just get right into it. So I'm gonna show you guys my updated version of my White Forest deck. This is gonna be White Forest toy. I'm seeing a lot of Runic and whatnot, and like Centurion. That stuff is cool, but I'm not much of a fan of it. You know what I mean? I really like the toy box engine, because I feel like it gives us so much advantage. But anyway, I'm sure you guys main, extra, and the side, because I kind of rock with y'all a little bit. This deck has gone through a lot of changes overall in general, but I kind of like this build right here because I got certain cards that I was missing. So yeah, so for the monsters, 3 Stellar. My opinion, this is the best one. It's definitely better than a Zet, but a Zet is still very good. But yeah, 3 and 3 for the level 2s. So if you guys don't know what they do, I'll explain it. You can send, so all of the White Forest monsters, they have the effect to send a spell or trap card from your hand or field to a graveyard as cost to activate their effects. So this one, when during the main phase, you can send one from your hand or field to graveyard to summon out a spellcaster tuner monster from your deck to your field, right? So that could be any spellcaster tuner. It could be Effect Veiler, any one you have, right? A Zet, if she's in your hand, you can pitch to reveal her, and if you do, summon her to your field, and then you do search, which that is all one effect. And yeah, you cannot actually use her effect under Droll, so do keep that in mind. They both have grave effects. While this card is in the graveyard, spell trap card is sent to graveyard to activate a monster effect, you could just summon her back to the field, which is very important. Then her effect, when a spellcaster is summoned to your field, spellcaster tuner, I believe, is it tuner or spellcaster? Yep, when a light spellcaster tuner monster is summoned to your field during your opponent's turn, you can add her from your graveyard back to your hand. So they both recycle themselves, which is very important. But yeah, you want to max on 3 of them. I know for the Runic build, they don't even play a Stellar, which I get why, but we're not playing that build. The Stellar is still the best normal summon. You see her plus Toy Box, that's full combo. And depending on the build you are playing, obviously, your opponent can't nib you, but that depends on the extra deck that you are running. So as for the other ones, we are rocking 2 Sylvie and then the 1 Rusia. People run this at 3. I kind of like it at 2. In my opinion, I think 2 is just fine. That's the me thing though. But yeah, just 2 of these and 1 of these. I don't like run this card at 2. I think 1 of this is just fine. I can always get to it. I can always see it. It is what it is. And I never feel like, oh my god, I need that second one. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So yeah, Sylvie is one of the best ones. If you do want to run Sylvie at 3, you most certainly can if you really want to. So what Sylvie does, on summon, she'll search for a White Forest spell or trap card from your deck and then add it to your hand. And then both of these have the same grave effect, to where if you control a White Forest synchro monster, or if there's one in your graveyard, quick effect, either player's turn, you can bounce that back to the extra deck and then summon these guys back to the field, but their effects are negated. Keep that in mind, but that is possible if you want to actually do that. So yeah, just these right here, that is it for the White Forest stuff. Again, if you want to run Sylvie at 3, you can, because this gets you into a Zet, you know what I mean? But I feel like she plays more into Droll and Lockbird, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm running her at just 2. But again, if you like her at 3, run her at 3. Obviously, the best engine is the toy engine, so 3 Toy Soldier and then the 1 Toy Tank. This is just fantastic, phenomenal. I think it's super good. If you guys really don't like it because you want to run the Centurion stuff, I think you can still run this in there also, because this just gives you so much advantage, it's crazy. So I don't know. Well, maybe you don't run this in there with that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you don't. Never mind. Ignore me. This alone, this engine is oh my god, it's phenomenal, bro. So good. Next is just a bunch of hand traps, because we have enough room to run a lot of hand traps in here. So very standard for me. 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, and I'm actually running the 1 Veiler because we're running other stuff. I'm running 1 Veiler because it's searchable. You can get Veiler at any time. So I decided to just bump Veiler down to 1 because we are running a certain card in here to kind of help with Veiler and whatnot. So yeah, so these right here, these 7 are very standard. Other cards, obviously, is 3 Imperm, just very standard, you know what I mean? Best hand trap in the game. And then we are actually rocking 3 Dominus Purge. I think this card is fantastic. So like, the pros and cons with this card, right? We don't run any fire, and we don't run any water. You know what I mean? So, except in the side deck for like one certain card, if that makes sense. But like, we'll get into that. But other than that, like, this card is very good. It does shut off dark. So for our dark in our extra deck, we have 3 dark cards in the extra deck. Sorry, 4 dark cards in the extra deck, and 2 of them don't need to activate their effects, if that makes sense. Which you'll see what I mean. But I think this card is freaking sick in this deck, bro. And even if you don't want to use it, you can just pitch it, or hey, you could just set the card if need be. You know what I mean? So it's one of those cards that can kind of help with Droll also. You know what I mean? If they're gonna search, you go Dominus Purge. Especially if you have like a trap card in your graveyard, because you pitch it this turn, you could just Dominus Purge, negate, and then it just destroys said cards. So I don't know. I think this card is very good in here. Yeah, just try it out. But if you don't like it, play other cards. But I'm trying it out in here. I think it's pretty good. So yeah, that's it for the monsters and the hand traps. Obviously, for the spell cards, I still wholeheartedly believe you need to main deck cross out in this deck, because the deck had like, okay, so how this deck works, it has pardon me, it has so much recursion, it's crazy, but like stopping certain cards hurts way too much. Like if we get drolled, our turn is essentially over, if that makes sense. If a Stellar gets hit with like a Veiler, Imperm, or Ash, our turn is essentially over if we don't have another extender, if that makes sense. So like, just, cross out to me is a mandatory card in this deck at all times. That's just a me thing though. But if you don't like this card, if you want to run Pot of Prosperity, you can run that instead. But the pros and cons with that card, like, not a bad card, but I feel like it does kind of conflict with some main deck stuff and extra deck stuff, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm not running it. But I don't know. I think Crossout is just as good. But if you don't want to run, again, if you don't want to run Dominus Purge because you're just like, it's kind of you could just replace this for Pot of Prosperity if you really want to. I like this over Pot anyways, but that's just a me thing though, you know. Pot is a very consistent card, of course, but I don't know. I think it's okay. The best engine is 3 Toy Box. We're gonna play this card at 3 at all times if you can. It's just good, bro. Goated. When you see this card plus a Stellar, it's full combo and then some, and then more, if that makes sense. So 3 of those. I'm actually bumping up Tails to a 2. I was playing it at 1 for the longest. Sorry about that. I was playing it at 1 for the longest, but for the like grind game and whatnot, playing this card at 2 is definitely, I feel like, is a little bit better. Playing it at 3 is way too much, but playing it at 2, I feel like it's just that like sweet spot, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So just 2 of these, because you don't really want to see this in your opening hand without a spellcaster or an illusion overall in general. So yeah, like, I think this card is good at just that right there, if that makes sense. So 2 of those, and then we are rocking the 2 talents plus the 1 called by to kind of facilitate to help with hand traps, because I feel like these cards on top of your crossouts, super good. Your opponent wants to try to stop you from doing something, right? then you go, I'm gonna cross you out, right? My thing resolves, and then during the resolution, you go talents, show me your hand, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's too good to not be running in here. And again, even if it is dead in your hand, it is a spell card, so you can pitch it to a graveyard if you really want to use one of your White Forest spell, or White Forest effects. So then, you know, call by is call by. Hitting some of those hand traps is very, very good. Hitting other stuff is really good too. So yeah, that's it for those trap cards. One reframing. Silhouette Hat Trick did make it back in here. I think just having in here to play under Droll is pretty good too. So yeah. Plus, it is actually another body, so you can actually synchro summon with this card because it's level 4. And then recycle it back if you really want to. So one Silhouette Hat, and then obviously the one Woes of the White Forest. Just very basic trap cards here. So we are playing 9 traps in general, but 6 of those traps are hand traps. So, but yeah, we are playing a good number of trap cards in here. So the good traps, good spells, and then the good monsters is just, you know, you see your Asteria, you're good to go from there, if that makes sense. So that is it for the main deck. That's solid 40 cards. Extra deck time. That deck is pretty cool. For the links, we are rocking the 1 Silhouette Rabbit, the 1 SP, and then the 1 Lara, the Light Charmer. You don't want to run this because I'm not running any other links. You don't have to run this card, but this is just in case I fight against Fiendsmith variant decks and I go summon out effect, give me that, make SP. And mind you, so SP is one of the cards, or you can make an SP or you can make Silhouette Rabbit if you want to, right? But SP is one of the cards that can conflict with your Purge card. But again, you can set the Purge card if you don't want to, if you really need to use SP, you know what I mean? It all depends. So yeah, that is it for those links right there. Synchros, Zapper Shrimp, never take this out, super good card. 1 Zapper Shrimp, 1 Silsavara, 1 Rosella for the 6s, for the tuners, for the Synchro tuners, sorry. For the other 6s, we are rocking 1 Tri-Edge, and then we are rocking the 1 Coral Dragon for the other level 6s. Coral Dragon is really good because, again, you just summon this out, effect, pitch, destroy something, circle summon with this card, and then another 2 to make one of your 8s, and then you're good to go from there, if that makes sense. For the 8s, we are rocking the 1 Visas Amtara, and then obviously the 1 Diabelles, and then we are still rocking the 1 Crystal Wing. Kind of on the fence with this, but there are times where I do summon this out for free, so it's like, why not just run the card, if that makes sense. So yeah, just these for the 8s right here. Diabelles is obviously the best one, and we run the Visas to stretch out the reframing, obviously. For the 10s, Satellite Warrior, another card that does kind of conflict with your Purge card, but again, I still think the card is too good to like run in here because again, popping 4 cards, popping 3 cards is just too good in my humble opinion. So it can kind of conflict, but it's like, again, you can always just set that card, especially if you have Droll in your hand too. So yeah, 1 Satellite Warrior for the 10s, 1 Black Wing Assault Dragon, and then the 1 Chaos End would round up the 10s. These 2 do not conflict with it. The only thing this stops, it does stop you from summoning out and banishing a card, but Dominus Purge cannot stop their constant effects, if that makes sense. Or sorry, their condition effects, if that makes sense. So, because this effect to burn doesn't activate, so therefore it can't stop it. You know what I mean? So every time your opponent does use a monster effect, you're gonna burn them for 700 each and every time. You know, it does resolve. So, and this, if you summon it with a light and a dark, you still have the bonus effects of, you know, not being destroyed by a battle, and then, you know, not being affected by a monster effect. So again, these 2 are still pretty good in here in my opinion, and again, this is mainly just for like time in my opinion, so this is one of those cards. Something is very easy too, so yeah. That's it for those right there. Then the last card is obviously the 1 Crimson Dragon. This is how we do summon out our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, or if you want to summon out this too, you can actually do that too. If you have this on the field, summon this out, target this, bring this out, or you can bring out the old-fashioned way too if need be. But yeah, that is it for the extra deck, 15 cards. Again, extra deck can definitely change around a lot if you really wanted to, but this is just kind of up to like your, it's more for like what you're feeling, you know what I mean? If you want to put like a access code talker, all that stuff, you can definitely do that, which I might actually end up doing that, believe it or not, because it is a dark, but you know, it is what it is. side deck stuff. So these cards do actually conflict with Dominus Purge, but you can go Dominus Purge and then chain both of these cards if need be. So we are actually rocking the 3 Molcharmy. I would main deck it, but I am main decking Droll, and I feel like, pardon me, I feel like this plus Droll kind of conflicts with each other. You know what I mean? Because like I don't want to go activate Molcharmy, right? I draw 1 card, I draw Droll. You search, all right, I'm gonna Droll you. I can't draw anymore. I feel like it kind of conflicts. So, but I think this card is super good. So I think having it in the side deck is very good. So this plus Spooky Dogwood is very, 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 very good. Again, these cards can kind of win you games in general. These are very good in time, both of these cards, because it puts your opponent on the like clock itself. Every time they do something, you draw, and every time they summon, you gain life points. So it's one of those cards where you're just like, yes, I like this card a lot. So again, these are water types, so they will low-key conflict with Dominus Purge. But again, you can go Dominus Purge, and you can go chain Molcharmy and chain one of these if need be, if that makes sense. Or you can just go activate these 2 in the draw phase. Then when they want to do anything, then you can go Dominus Purge to stop their searching, and you'll still be able to actually draw and then gain life points. So yeah, so that is it for those right there. Spell cards, 3 Cosmic and then the 1 Duster, just to kind of help out with back row. It's mainly just, that's all it's for, honestly. Trap cards, we are rocking the Skill Drain once again. I took it up before, but now I'm putting it back in here because I feel like it's just one of those cards to where like your opponent has to like deal with it. So it's like Skill Drain plus the 1 anti-spell. Like I can turn them both on and shut them both off at the same time if I need to. So that's why I'm still rocking these in here. Like these do not hurt this deck at all whatsoever, because remember, the White Forest cards, they can send your spell and trap cards from your hand or field to graveyard as cost, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are there. And then obviously the last card is obviously the 1 D-Barrier, because we do main deck cross out and I don't want to get hit with a D-Barrier in general. So going second, I side this in every single time if I can, knowing I'm going to go second because I'm like, yo, they're going to siding a D-Barrier and then mess me up. So yeah, one of those cards was super good. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, share the video. See you guys next time and have an awesome one. Peace.